Hi, everyone, and welcome to There's No Such Thing as Normal, a podcast about neurodiversity, disability, and mental health. I'm Lou, your host, and I'm neurodivergent myself, and I'm also completely blind. So, in this episode, I'm going to be talking about the benefits of getting a neurodiversity diagnosis and the potential downsides or reasons that people might not want to, and how it's been for me getting diagnosis and how it's really helped me. So I'm saying neurodivergent because I'm talking about anything autism, ADHD. It literally could be anything. I'm not really specifically talking about one kind of diagnosis. I'm talking about any diagnosis that is neurodiversity related. So I'm not meaning to be vague, but I just feel that because I'm talking about everything, I'm just using neurodiversity. So I am diagnosed autistic and ADHD, and for me, it has been really life-changing and really amazing. So I'll sort of go into how getting those diagnoses have helped me and what they've done for my life, and basically. So starting at the top, I think validation is a massive thing. So validation is basically feeling that you're adequate, that your experiences are valid, that your experiences are real, that they are acceptable. I think to feel validated is to feel okay about how you experience the world and how you process and learn. And I think that's really important because we all deserve to feel a sense of validation. We all deserve to feel comfortable with ourselves and that our experiences are okay and that our experiences are unique. So that's really important for everyone. Self-discovery, I mean, it's just massive. And this is why I think that it doesn't matter how old you are to get a diagnosis, whether you're, a child or an adult or an older adult, it doesn't matter because, that self-discovery and actually, having a reason why you struggle, having a reason why life's so hard, having that and knowing why, and just knowing that, it's not that there's anything wrong, you're not broken, you're not anything, you're just different, and having that ability to really learn about yourself and having the awareness of your needs. So, you can really get to know yourself. So knowing that you're autistic or ADHD or anything, you can go, okay, well, an example. Well, I know that if I'm autistic, this is for me, I struggle with change and I've got the awareness that change is difficult and, lots of other things. But it means that you can become aware of your unique profile, depending on the neurodivergent condition in question, having that knowledge to then learn about yourself, to then make your life better, to have a quality of life that's improved and to really get the most out of everything. And that's really important. I think education is massive. I mean, I do so much research into neurodiversity, autism, ADHD, all these things, and just learning about it, but knowing that, I'm part of that and I feel that I can learn about it and without, there's sort of that imposter syndrome, which is basically where, so for me, before I was diagnosed, I was kind of like, oh, well, I know I'm autistic, I know I'm ADHD, but I just didn't feel quite, I was like 99%, 100% certain, but just having it officially told to me just made me feel more, just secure in the knowledge that I was right. And I think waiting for that diagnosis and sort of hanging in the balance is really hard because you just want to know. You just, you do question yourself, and you do sometimes think, oh, is it real? Am I really struggling with this? Is it in my head? Do you know what I mean? Lots of different things that we can all feel, but just knowing it for sure puts your mind at ease. And I think we can then be a lot kinder to ourselves. Maybe not push ourselves so hard, and maybe be like, okay, I've had a difficult day. I'm overstimulated. The reason I'm overstimulated is because, and then you've got the reason, and then this is what I need because this is what my brain needs. My brain needs this. Maybe it's rest, maybe it's whatever. And you can then just be more gentle with yourself, rather than pushing yourself, rather than feeling cross with yourself, rather than putting yourself down, because it's so easy to put ourselves down and feel like we're failing because, there's nothing worse than everyone else seems to be okay and yet you're struggling. And I've seen that a lot. And I just think, why is life so hard and all those sorts of feelings. But actually I go, well, I've got a lot going on that a lot of other people don't have going on. So I'm kind to myself because my experiences are my experiences and other people have their own experiences. And I don't feel bad about how I am or how I struggle. I mean, yeah, it's frustrating, but I really don't beat myself up, or at least I try very hard not to. I feel like you can become part of a community. And by that, I mean, connecting with other neurodivergent people, whether that's online on various different groups or forums or in person, whether that's in-person support groups, and then having those sort of shared experiences with people is really special because, to be honest, all my friends are neurodivergent. And I think that's just because I feel like I've got that in common. And as naturally as humans, we are drawn to people that share our experiences. So having that shared diagnosis, but also the shared experiences with others is very important, I think, for everything, but also for our self-esteem and just feeling that, because of course, as I've said in other podcasts, 20% of the population are thought to be neurodivergent. That means 80% are neurotypical. And it's easy to feel that we don't belong or that we're, strange or whatever. But actually then when we're part of the community, we meet other people like us, we socialize with people like us, we learn from others. That's when we feel part of a community, and that can improve overall mental health and reduce feelings of isolation and loneliness. So that's just important. I think every human needs to be part of a community and needs to feel that they belong. And I think feeling that you belong, with others that share experiences is extremely important. So you can access support. And again, for me, it's been a huge one. So I feel like since having my diagnosis, it has been easier to access support because I can say, right, I'm ADHD. I need frequent breaks. I need movement. I need these accommodations. And, that's important, just having it, because, if you say to somebody, oh, I think I'm autistic or I think I'm ADHD, I think this would benefit from me. It's a bit more sort of, I don't know, just not really as direct or persuasive as being, right, this is my official diagnosis, this is what I need, and this is why I need it. And they can't really say no. I mean, they can, but it's obviously going to be a lot harder for them to say no because it's on paper and it's right there. So you can access support in school, college, uni, the workplace. There's lots of different support that you can get. And of course the reports that you get will also often have suggestions, or they will include things that you need. So you can then utilize those reports and say, right, this is what I need because it says it in the report. And again, it's that professional aspect of it that, if a professional has said this person would benefit from this, it gives it more weight, I think, for sure. I think you can access more benefits or, financial support if you need that. You could potentially access more social care support, again, if you need that, support in lots of different areas. You could access specific coaching, maybe for ADHD. You could access that. You could access more specialist, maybe mental health support. And also, if we're talking about ADHD, then medication is an option. And yes, it's completely optional for everyone to choose whether that's something they want. But having the diagnosis gives you that choice. Whether you want to take medication or not is your choice. But having that option and having it, out there, if that's something you want, then that's a big thing because you can choose to have it or not. And just having that option, really, it's all just about having, opening doors to more options, more supports. I think it can help other people to understand because, again, you can say to somebody, I'm autistic, so I struggle with, and then it could be anything. So it could be, I struggle with noise. And this is because my brain processes sensory information differently. It could be that I'm ADHD and I struggle to focus. Therefore, I need sensory aids. I need to be somewhere quiet. I need headphones. And again, having that official diagnosis can just make it feel a lot more easy to explain. Again, as I was saying, if you say, I think I am, which is of course completely fine, but I think just for me, I found that actually having it definitively just for myself makes me feel better about everything. And I think really it's never too late. It doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are. I think getting a diagnosis can be a really positive experience. And again, it's all choice whether you want a diagnosis or not. Some people are self-diagnosed and they're completely happy with that, and that's completely fine. And I think it really depends on the person's needs and what they're doing in life, whether they need the diagnosis to access support, whether they need the diagnosis just for their, self-worth and their self-knowledge. But everyone's so different, and that's completely fine. So there are a few reasons why someone might not want to get a diagnosis. So I think some people feel that it's a label and they don't want to have a label. They don't want to have that label attached to them. And I think I prefer to see it, or I choose to see it, not as a label, but as an explanation. So I've got, all these different diagnosed conditions. I don't see that as a label. I see it as a part of me, an explanation to why I struggle, and a way of me getting the support. So it's been very positive for me. And I don't see it as a label. I don't see it as, something that's bad. I see it as a way of getting the support and the self-awareness and self-knowledge that I need. I think people worry about what others will think. So they might worry about being judged. They might worry about how others will react if they say, they're autistic or something like that. Unfortunately, there is still quite a lot of misconceptions in society and lots of different things related to that. But I feel that if we are neurodivergent, if we can, want to be I can't get my words out. Educating others. That's what I'm trying to say. You want to educate others. You want to teach others. And you know what? If they choose not to accept you, and if they choose not to take you for who they are, that isn't going to be different depending on whether you have a diagnosis or not. Because either way, whether you're diagnosed or not, you're still the same person. And some people are maybe not going to accept you for who you are, diagnosed or not. And I see that as their loss, really, because we are different, yes, but that has lots of benefits, and we are unique. And if people choose to see us as, odd or strange, or they don't think we're good, then that's their problem. And in all fairness, for me, I don't want to be spending time with people who don't understand me, and I think others might react to you potentially badly whether you're diagnosed or not, and really that is their problem. And I mean, education is key, but there's only so much education we can do. Some people just don't get it, really. I don't know what else, really. I think people worry about being forced into things, like, might be worried about, if I get an ADHD diagnosis, I'm worried that they're going to then force medication on me. No, it doesn't work like that at all. You get the diagnosis and it's completely your choice, whether you want that or not. Nothing's ever forced. It's all your choice. I think there is a lot around immigration, and it's all quite complicated, but I think certain countries have policies that don't allow certain people with certain conditions to go to those countries if they have higher support needs. And to be honest, that'd probably be a whole other podcast. But I think some people worry about that. And of course, I think it's completely wrong that a country wouldn't want you just because you need more support. It's basically like they see it as, oh, well, if you're going to cost us money because you need social care, we don't want you, which is really wrong and really bad. And it is, what's the word? It's just discrimination, really. And I think that, yes, we need support, but we are still humans, and we shouldn't be seen as just a drain on the system. We're not, because we have all these amazing things that we can bring, and it's just that we need the support. Anyway, that's a whole other podcast. So yes, there are potential reasons for not wanting a diagnosis. For me personally, it's been a really positive experience. I've been able to understand myself better. I've got more support and I've been able to access ADHD meds. Other people have been more accepting, and I genuinely feel that it's been positive for me. And as I said, it's completely up to you whether you'd want a diagnosis, but these are just some of the benefits and the potential reasons why someone might not want a diagnosis, and then, the reasons. But anyway, I hope it's been interesting. And, if you are, thinking about getting a diagnosis, that it's been helpful just to think about some of these benefits and what's right for you. But I hope it's been interesting and helpful. And thanks for listening, and I'll be back soon.